Hello, third grade virtual academy, and welcome to another week of online art. What we're going to be doing this week is another origami lesson. So remember that origami means the art of paper folding. So this week what we're going to do is we're going to make an origami dog head. Now I'm going to show you what mine looks like, and I actually did a dog head and a dog body. And so this is it right here. Now mine is super big. Mine is two regular full-sized pieces of paper cut into squares, and then it's one square for the head and one square for the body. The only problem with my full-size, super cute origami dog is that his head is actually so heavy that he won't stand up. So you can see that he's kind of made to stand up, but he's so heavy. I'll try to set him up here. He's too heavy. He's not gonna stand up because his head is way too big. So if you want your origami dog to stand up, my advice would be to use smaller paper. So I used regular computer paper. I did that thing where you curl it down like this. We cut off the extra tab, and then I turned it into my dog head. My advice for you would be to fold it into a square, cut that extra tab off, and then maybe just cut it in half again and again so that you have smaller squares to work with. So however you need to get your squares, even if they're just as big as mine, that's totally and completely fine because he is super cute and he doesn't have to stand up for it to work. But we're just going to do origami this week. The only thing you have to do is the dog head. You can do a body if you want to, and then you're just going to have fun with it. So go ahead and just follow along with the video to see how to make this origami dog. Let's start our origami study with a dog head. So I'm going to take a piece of blank white paper. I'll put the rest off to the side, and we're going to cut our rectangular paper into a square. So just like we've done before, I'm going to take this top left corner and kind of curl it down here until I've made a perfect triangle. So you'll know if you've made a perfect triangle when this corner lines up to a really nice point. So that looks just about right. Make sure it's perfectly lined up down here, and then crease, crease, crease. I should have a bar right here that I'm going to cut off. So that's how we make our perfect square. There we go. All right, so to start the dog head, I'm actually going to leave it folded. Sometimes when you make your square, you unfold it, but to make the dog head, we're actually just going to leave it folded. Now we're going to keep this dog head really, really simple. There are a lot of origami tutorials online that will show you more advanced ways to do this. We're going to keep this very, very simple. So I'm going to start with my triangle just like this, and then I'm going to make my dog's ears. I'm going to do that by just kind of rolling these parts down to make little ear flaps. So I'm just going to take this first ear and just kind of roll it. See how I'm rolling it and pushing it up here? So maybe that's dog ear number one. Go like that. And then I'm just going to try to make this one match. So I'm going to kind of roll it until it's just as long. Something like that. All right, so there's my dog's ears. And now I'm going to make my dog's nose and mouth. So to do this, it's two steps. I'm going to take the point and I'm going to roll it up to the top, not to the top, sorry. I'm going to roll it up like this and press. And so now it's more like a dog shape because it's a little flat at the bottom. But then to make his nose, I'm actually going to take the very tip here and I'm just going to roll it down and press. So now he has this little triangular nose. He's got his little snout. He's got his ears, and we're going to give him some eyes. So let's get a marker and give him some detail. All right, so there's my dog's head with his face, and now I'm going to take a second piece of paper to make my dog's body. I'm going to move the head off to the side. I'm going to turn this one into a square. I'll do it real quickly. All right, so here I have another triangle, but this time I'm going to have the triangle sitting like this. So the open part is where his two paws are. This is where his head's going to go, and then this is going to be his tail. So actually what I want to do is I want to kind of curl the tail upward to where it's going to hold this open as much as I want it to be open. So I'm going to take the tail here. This gets a little bit tricky. I'm going to hold my paper open a little bit. I'm going to take the tail part and I'm going to just kind of turn it backwards. Now you can see the paper is not wanting to go the way I want it to go. So you have to kind of just work with it. So I'm just going to kind of curl the back of the paper up while also trying to keep the rest of the paper from curling. So I'm just going to kind of curl it up. See how it's starting to go? Just a little bit. I'm going to pick this up and kind of do it this way. Let's just turn it like that. And then there we go. Now I'm going to give it a pull. Give it a pull and kind of squish it a little. Okay, there we go. So now my tail is curled up and the body is just normal. Okay, now this is a pretty big body. One thing I can do is I can make paws in the front. So I'm just going to draw. I'm going to do the front for his paw like this. And that's where his head's going to be. I can also do a back paw if I want, like this, like he's sitting there. There we go. All right, so the very last step of our origami is just to attach our dog head to our dog body. So there are a couple different ways to do this. You could just kind of tape it on the back. You can just put it like this and then just tape it on the back, tape it across. Another little more complicated way that you can do this is you can actually separate your two sheets here. Now watch what happens to the nose area when I do this. I'm going to separate the two sheets like that so I have a little pocket. And then I can take my dog body and put it inside. Now that does sit really nicely in there, but his mouth disappeared. So if you want to do it that way, you can just redraw his mouth on this part. So I'm just going to pull this down, do his little mouth, do his little whisker spots. And there we go. So now I will show you once I'm able to move the camera. This should set up really nicely. Now you can see my dog's head is very heavy, so mine is falling just a little bit apart. My advice on this would be to do one that's about half the size that I made mine, because his head is really heavy for this body. Something else you can do is you can just take another third piece of paper and you can glue your dog to that paper and just decorate. I would advise getting a larger piece of paper so that you could draw something like a little dog food bowl. You could do maybe like his leash hanging on the wall behind him, or really whatever you want. But if you make yours a lot smaller than mine, you won't have this problem where it's too heavy to stand up. So that's how we're going to make our origami dog. Just have fun with it. And the only thing that I need for you to show me is just an origami dog head. So have fun, and I can't wait to see what you come up with.